keep up to date with our latest videos, please hit the subscribe button below.
Hi, welcome to this video from Racing Bet Data and Football Bet Data. And this is a new feature that we're going to do on a monthly basis. Going to call it the monthly mailbag, where we attempt to answer over video some of the questions, inquiries and emails that we've had throughout the last few weeks. Not just so we're answering directly to the person who's inquired, because obviously we've done that over email on written form, but these are potentially questions that might benefit other members, might have the same sort of questions, or might lead to an additional question. So hopefully this video will act as a source of information. And what I'm going to do without further ado is get stuck into these. Now what I've done is group together a couple of the questions that we've had that will be answered by looking at the pre-race download file on the Racing Bet Data website. So we navigate to the Racing Bet Data website and click the download, and I will start getting into the questions. So the first question we have comes from Stephen, where he says, I'm looking to narrow down my selections based on the last 3 SPs of a horse. Can this be done with your database? The criteria would be each of the last 3 SPs must be 7-2, which is 4.5 decimal or less, i.e. a horse of 6-4, 2-1, 3-1 would be a selection. Horse of 6-4, 5-1, 3-1 would not be a selection. And a nice compliment from Stephen saying the database is brilliant and glad he signed up. So really good. Thank you for the feedback and the question. Yeah, really straightforward to do. And we're going to use the pre-race download, and I've extracted today's, which is the 10th of the 11th. And as always, we're going to use a helper column to the right hand side. And here's the formula that I'm going to use. With Excel, always the case, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So there's going to be multiple different ways that you can do this, different formula and different techniques, filtering, pivot tables, etc. But I think this is probably the easiest one to demonstrate on a video and then replicate going forwards for yourself. So we're using the if function, and within if we're going to build in the and criteria. So we're going to look for, first of all, actually what I'm going to do is move this down to a race that's happening today. I'm going to put it in here. You'll see why in a moment. So we're going to use if and combined. So with the and, what we're looking for is today's date equals today in the formula. So that will do a first search to see if today's date is today. Sorry, if the date of the race is today. Then what we're going to do, so Stephen asked, he wanted to see the last 3 runs for each horse. So we need to make sure that 3 lines above was the same horse, because it might be that horse like Agaboy here is only run 2 previous races, so he hasn't had 3 full runs before. So we need to make sure that the line 3 above matches the current line, and you can see there that's given us a true. So once we've got that determined, then what we want to do is look at the SP for the last 3 runs, and he wanted to make sure that these were all 4.5 or below. He didn't specify whether this is Betfair or industry odds, so you've got the option of the 2 columns in here. So I'm going to use the Betfair for the purpose of the video. So where R9 is equal to or less than 4.5, and then we're going to do R10 is less than or equal to 4.5, and finally R11 is less than or equal to 4.5. So that's given us our rules. So we're looking to see if on this line it's the date of the run is today. If it is, great. Then let's look at the horse 3 rows above. Is it the same as today? And then we want to check the formula for the last 3 runs for that horse and make sure they're all 4.5 or below. Now if they are, so we can put use the binary system here. So say if it's true, it's a 1. If it's false, it's 0. You can type yes, no, select, don't select, whatever you want in these true and false boxes for your output. So we select OK there, and then we can just simply click this crosshair, drag it all the way down. We'll get some errors at the top. So this is why I started it on the first line that had a race for today, because obviously we can't look any further above for these races because that's the start of the file. So I'm just going to take those out, and highlighting that, you can see that there's 4 selections today, and we can find out which 4 those are by applying a simple filter, selecting the one, and there you go. So you've got the 4 races today. You can scroll across, you can see more of the details, you can see the horses, and I'm not sure what the purpose that Stephen wants to use these for, but this explanatory video is just showing you how you can do it very simply, couple of minutes in Excel. And if you develop this even further, you could save that as a macro that you embed each morning. You can automate that as well if you've got those skills and abilities, and you can get your selections quite easily identified in a matter of seconds. Okay, the next email came from Jerry. Jerry's question was, hi, is it possible with your software to find horses that trade considerably lower than their BSP but don't go on to win? So really good question. And again, as per the question before, there's more than one way to get this information and data, but I feel the quickest way, again, is using our pre-race download file. And within here, you have several different ways you can attack this. So we obviously have the average SP drop in the last 5 races and the last 18 months. We have columns in here that show you where the horse placed, i.e. did it win or didn't it win. We show you the last 5 races here detailed as well. So you can go through and check that. But I think the best way to do this would be to create a simple pivot table, which I'm going to do here. So I'm going to select the whole data range in the pivot table, and I'm going to show you how you can get this output. So it's full range. So what we want to do at the top is select the place option, and we're going to deselect first because he didn't want to see horses that had won. Then we're going to select the horse name and the date. And depending on your format of Excel, you might get the date broken down into years, quarters, etc. So I'm just going to remove those. And I'm going to change the layout so it's in a tabular form, repeated all items. And I'm going to ungroup these so they actually give you the date itself. So that basically what that's done is give a list of every horse that's run in the past where it hasn't finished first. And what I'm going to do here is put in a percentage SP drop and change that to sum. So that shows the sum of the percentage drop for each of those races. And because he only wanted to look at horses that had traded considerably lower, didn't specify to a certain value, I'm going to put in here a value filter where the sum of the percentage of SP drop is greater than 75%. And that filters out all of those horses. So you can see that Abstract has had one run where its SP dropped greater than 76%. That was on the 11th of May this year. And if you click on this, it will handily bring you up the details of that race. So you can look into the track, the distance, its starting price, and the in-play low that it traded to. So that's probably the best way to do that. And you can go down through the list then and look for horses. So if you wanted to find one that had traded 10 times, you can quickly do that. You can add some calculations if you wanted to bring across the total number of runs and work it out as a percentage. But that is a very straightforward, simple way of you being able to display horses that have not finished first, but have dropped in SP by 75% or more in running. Next question from Jason. Again, Jason kindly says he would like to start with a thank you for the sheets we collate daily, and they're great. The videos that we've been uploading with Power Query examples have been fantastic, and have certainly helped him start exploring some systems. Great to hear. And he says, please keep up the great work. I look forward to seeing more videos and suggestions. So hopefully this will be well received by you, Jason, along with others. So his question is regarding the industry SP price. So he asks, please can you advise, are the prices taken at various times during the day, as for example this morning in the pre-race download file that I've got open, that he took at 8:30 a.m. He's given an example from the other day where the horse's industry SP was different to the same horse's industry SP in the results file he downloaded later that evening. So he said the only reason he can ask is because the system he looked at uses industry SP as a filter from the pre-race download file. If it's a moving price, then he'll have to relook at it. So just to explain, the SP, industry SP and the SP favorite column within the pre-race download file for a horse that's running today. So let's have a look at Adichie here that's running today. So this industry SP is not yet known because the race hasn't started. This file is created in the morning. The SP is not known. The Betfair SP is blank, but what we have in the industry SP column is the predicted SP. And if we scroll a bit further to the right hand side to find the predicted SP, I've got it in here somewhere. Sorry, I've gone too far. Column U, predicted industry SP, you'll see that these two match for horses running today, this morning. You can see there, back in time, these change because this is the actual SP and this was the predicted SP in the morning, tissue price, forecast price, whatever you want to call it. So that is why there's a populated figure for the day of the race in the morning. It's not the actual SP because it is not yet known. But after the race, that would then be populated with the actual SP because the race is taking place. And corresponding to that, the SP favorite as well for the morning of a race is done on the forecasted price. So if we look at the 140 at Exeter, today is the example. So I'm going to look at today, 140. So here's a list of all the horses. You can see Adichie that we looked at there, predicted SP of 9 was the 5th favourite. The first favourite, forecasted favourite, is Lord Accord with a forecasted industry SP of 3.5. So just to clarify, before the race has happened, the SP isn't known. So the Betfair SP is blank, and anything in the industry SP column before the race is the forecasted price. So next question comes from Sean. And we're going to cover a couple of questions here regarding membership, upgrade and options. So Sean asked a couple of things in his query. He says he's potentially interested in the data service and wants to confirm his understanding of the subscription options. Does the £79.99 per year subscription cover both horse racing and football? And also, does such a subscription give you access to historic results data or just data from the point that you subscribe? If granted access to the historic racing results, how far back does the data go? As he's particularly interested in the data showing odds movements pre and during race. So a few things there from Sean. So first of all, we'll answer these sequentially. Yes, if you select a joint membership, either annually or monthly, some people prefer monthly, from either Racing Bet Data or Football Bet Data, you'll get access to both sites. So we're on the Racing Bet Data upgrade options here. So if I select the joint, either of the joints, you will get access to football and racing. As we're on the Racing Bet Data site, if I selected only the singular annual or monthly, you would only get access to the site that you sign up through, so Racing Bet Data in this instance. In terms of the access, as soon as you've signed up, you get the full shebang. So there's no restriction to the data that you get going back in time. You get access to the full historical pool of data. And for footballbetdata.com, results go back to the 98-99 season. With regards to Racing Bet Data, the data dashboard covers every UK and Irish race back to 2002. Now, Sean specifically asked about the odds pre and in play, which is the results, the standalone results and odds file. You'll get access to that, the full archive. That and the pre-race download file, they started in August 2020, but joining today, you'll get full access to those historic files. There's no restriction on that whatsoever, regardless of when you've joined. So I hope that answers that question there for you, Sean, or those questions there for you, Sean. Okay, this next question comes from Jorge, maybe George, so apologies if I pronounce your name incorrectly. But he asks, hi, I want to upgrade, but I don't have PayPal. Do you work with Skrill or Netiala, or there's some other way to pay for the upgrade? Okay, so through the site itself, we only use PayPal as the secure payment gateway. It is the number one worldwide payment gateway, offers both buyer and seller protection. So we always recommend people sign up through PayPal. However, do understand that some people, through territory restrictions, or they just don't want to have a PayPal account or don't have one, that's absolutely fine. If you contact us, we can discuss annual bank transfer for a membership fee if that is what you want, but that obviously does not give you the same level of buyer protection that PayPal does. Now, if you don't have a PayPal account, I'm just going to show you here that it's really simple to set one up. So you select the membership that you would like and select subscribe below. And this will take you to the login page of PayPal. PayPal's running a bit slowly today. So that is obviously my login for my PayPal account, so I can't pay myself, but it does give you the option here to pay by debit or credit card. We click on that, and what that will do is give me the option to register an account. And like I said, to register an account, it will take you less than 2 minutes. So we recommend you do that because that will give you that additional protection that you would want from PayPal, and also give you the ability to manage your subscriptions and your memberships that you have through PayPal. So just give this one a second to load. So this is obviously the PayPal site is running a little bit slow, and up pops your options. So you can pop in there your card details and pay that way, but also down the bottom here, after you've done that, it will give you the option to create your own PayPal account, and that gives you the additional protection that we've spoken about. So you click on that, yes, and that would create you a PayPal account, and then click agree and subscribe, and you're done. Your payment will go through and your access will be granted. So really quick and simple way to do it if you don't have a PayPal account. So quick and really good protection. That is the recommended way to pay through the website. Data.com now, and a question from James. James says, hi, hope you're well. I've been wanting to trial your product, but one thing I want to check is that I'm looking for historical data on the over 1.5 goals market, and also what the odds were before kickoff. Is that something you provide? Yep, absolutely. If we go to the data archive here, you'll have a series of checkboxes, and you will be able to generate your output. And included in that output is the over 1.5 goal market odds. So let's just select the English Premiership, all score predictions, because we're not filtering on that. You can select here the over 1.5 goals. So if you only wanted in your output where the minimum odds were, say, 1.6 or the maximum odds were 2, whatever, you can put those, and same for the under, into your filter criteria. So those will not be present within your output. You can then select the season. So let's just run last and current. Not applicable because we haven't got any summer leagues, and all months. And you can select all, and you can send that to screen. But with the limited space on the screen, we don't actually show the 1.5 goal market on the output. That is only in Excel. So we're going to send that to Excel and open that up. Okay, so we've got the output on screen here, and you can see it's sorted by newest to oldest date. So a lot of these games have not yet taken place. But across the top, you can see all the headings, and we can find here that we have the average over 1.5 goals. So this is the average odds from all bookmakers who offered odds or are offering odds on that market. If you scroll across, you can see that we're approaching the international break, so there are no games this weekend. So the next games take place in 10 days' time. And you can see actually that some of these odds have started populating already. But in the over 1.5 goal market, not yet. But historically, we have those odds in place. So you can see those. Now these odds here that are blank, I'm just going to freeze the columns here so you can see the top row as we scroll down. So these are the predicted odds, which only kick in after after the home team has played 5 and the away teams played 5 for each season. So these are the predictions that we generate through the site, which may or may not interest you. Predicted draw, predicted correct score, predicted over 2.5 goals. But what we're being asked about was the over 1.5 goal column. You can see the odds in that column there all the way back through time. Now, I'm not quite sure if you're asking about how you could see if a game had more than 1.5 goals. Well, you've got this column here, which is the actual total goals. And obviously to be over 1.5, you need to look for games that had 2 or more. And again, you can easily filter that. I'm not sure, you can easily formulate that. I'm not entirely sure. We didn't go into any more detail on your inquiry as to what you were specifically looking for, but the detail is all in there, all in that output, and very easy to analyze. And the final inquiry that we're going to touch on is not really an inquiry, it's a really welcome email that we get. This from Dean. He said, "Are you guys for real? All this data for under 10 quid. Yep, you have a very happy client here. Thanks for helping me multiply my profits by 10 overnight." So he's obviously not giving away what he's doing, but really great to hear these success stories. We welcome them. We welcome any suggestions, any ideas or questions that you have. Please feel free to contact us using the contact us option within the Racing Bet Data and the Football Bet Data website. We hope that this video has given not just the people who sent the inquiries in, but others some useful tips or some ideas and suggestions. And we look forward to doing the same again next month.